Hello, Jennifer, and hello, audience. We are here with Jennifer Allen, the writer behind Wonders Within Reach. You were here recently with two of your children in Ann Arbor to visit and explore and see what the area has to offer. What surprised you most about your Ann Arbor visit?
What surprised me most? Um, so we travel as a family with a wheelchair user. So my middle son, who's now 9, is a full-time or part-time wheelchair user. And so one of the big things that we are looking for in a trip is just something that is easy because I'm traveling on my own with kids, and it's nice when we can go places and not have things that we can't do. Oh my goodness. I apologize that you can probably, my husband set up my phone to ring through on
Oh,
the
no, I
computer.
can't hear. I actually can't hear it.
Okay, great. Well, I just rejected it. Um, anyway, so surprising to me was just how carefree we were able to be. I feel like we didn't encounter any barriers. There were no places where we got stuck. There was nothing that we had to turn around and redo. I know I had shared with you that even with our hotel experience, it was one of the few working chairlifts for the pool that we have ever experienced. And we travel a decent amount, so I feel like that was a rave thing to be able to say. But there wasn't anything that we couldn't do. There wasn't anywhere that we got stuck. It was a smooth itinerary. Um, Even the handful of times where I thought, oh, maybe this is going to be what we can't do, it wasn't. When we were at the restaurant the one evening and we asked where the bathroom was, and they said, oh, it's down the stairs. And I was like, but it was fine. There was an elevator right behind us that took us down the stairs to the accessible bathroom. There was no worry at all.
I love to hear that. I don't love to hear that you often have things that are barriers, um, and you go places and you have to modify or change your itinerary
Yeah.
because there are barriers. But I am happy to hear that you did not encounter that in Ann Arbor. That is
Yeah, well,
great.
and to a point, I mean, we expect that because I know that not everything can be accessible, but that's what makes it surprising then when there is somewhere where we don't have any of those. Another thing that really surprised us during our visit was how family friendly everything was. I had in my mind, because of Ann Arbor being a college town, that maybe everything would be more aimed at young couples. And everywhere we went, beyond the playgrounds and the petting zoos to the fine dining establishments, the museums, everywhere I felt like we were very welcomed. Everyone was very used to kids and very warm and welcoming to that. So, both in inclusion and for just having a younger family, we just felt very welcomed everywhere we went.
Um, I think that, yeah, just living here, I've noticed that even though we are a college town, we have the range of everybody, young
Yeah.
families with young kids, college kids, seniors. We've been on a list of best place to retire several times. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
college town, but big range
Yeah,
of
I
who
love that.
lives here. Yeah.
Yeah, I think of even the extra little things that we did. I mean, walking through town, going to bookshops, and a lot of those places were not aimed at kids, but no one no one seemed upset to see us. Everywhere was great. I felt like we were very welcomed and included in all of the experiences.
Ah, great. I love that. How did Ann Arbor's culture, food, or community stand out compared to other places you've visited? What made it different or unique?
So this actually ties into what surprises about our visit because it really is that welcoming feeling. I felt like everywhere that we went, the spaces were designed to be accessible, and the staff were warm and welcoming. Um, it was an overall vibe of you are welcome here. Um, Almost like, everywhere we went, they're rolling out the red carpet and, hey, we're so happy to see you here, even though we've never seen you before and we don't know who you are. We're glad that you're here. And that's a great feeling. And I think especially because of traveling with a disability, we often get the not
Mm,
intentional, but the okay, how are we going to accommodate you? How are we going to make this work? And we never experienced that. Every experience was it felt like they were glad to see us.
that's fantastic. I'm so
Yeah.
happy to hear that. And I think it's important for the audience to know that with your itinerary, we didn't warn anybody that you were coming. We didn't tell the businesses ahead of time that you were going to be there. So everything that you
That is good to
experienced
know.
was
Yeah.
genuine, and how any visitor that's going to be coming will be treated. Yeah.
That actually makes me that much happier because sometimes I wonder that when we go somewhere and it really does feel like they're rolling out the red carpet. I'm like, did you know that we were coming and that we're going to be writing about you? And that's amazing.
Yeah. No,
So,
we typically I actually purposely don't tell businesses ahead of time. Usually the hotel knows because
yeah.
they're the hotel that is accommodating you, but the businesses and museums and activities that you're going to, I purposely don't clue them in because I want you to have an authentic experience and be able to tell your audience exactly what they can expect and experience. Because if you're getting the red carpet treatment because you're writing about it, then how can your audience expect to have that same experience? They can't.
Yeah.
So the only way to make that authentic is to not really warn the businesses ahead of time that you're coming.
Yeah.
They might not like that, but I want you to experience our destination the way any visitor would experience it.
Yeah. No, I love that so much. I think it was our first dinner there was at Weber's. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah.
Um, and my children are excruciatingly picky. So they ordered, my daughter got the shrimp cocktail as her main course, and my son got a lobster soup as his main course. And I'm waiting for this waitress to, roll her eyes or give me a hard time about my kids ordering all this seafood instead of anything off of the children's menu. And she just engaged with them, and I felt like, I don't know, just made that effort to connect and to celebrate the evening of just eating together, and it was just neat.
I love that. They're picky, but they're choosing things that I wouldn't think that kids would
I
try.
know.
So that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great, and we all loved it, so it was perfect.
Uh, which experience or spot um, do you think every first time visitor shouldn't miss?
Okay, my first one is going to be an unexpected, a chorizo frita with the avocado spread, from Frita Batidos, if I'm saying that correctly.
Yeah, yeah.
Listen, I'm mostly kidding, but really, I think that was our last meal in Ann Arbor,
Mm.
and I would travel there just for that meal. And I actually didn't know what to order when I got there because the menu is unique and I had no idea what I was doing. So I said, just give me something that's good. And let me tell you, they came through.
Mm.
So that was my first thing. We ate very well overall on our trip, so I would recommend any of our restaurants because we would go back for them. Um, Diggers was a fun little find, and we found the accessible entrance was inside through the market. But the kids love this. It's where every book is, I don't remember now, like 50 cents. I mean,
Yeah, very
wildly
like
cheap.
$1.25 or $1.50, something.
Yeah,
It
I
was,
don't remember what it is.
yeah.
It's super low. And so we stocked up for the drive home because whatever, you can buy four books if they're $1 a pop, why not? So that was great. It was a fun little find where we ended up spending way too much time because we grabbed all the books for the journey home. Um, Another favorite was the Hands-On Museum. This is one that we had driven by it going for ice cream or something before we actually went, and it looked pretty small. So in my mind, was thinking, oh, we'll spend an hour or two there and then we'll move on to dinner or whatever we had next. Listen, this is one that, if you're able to, should be a full day. I mean, we went in and there's so much, and this is double-sided. First of all, there's so much hidden fun for kids, but also all of it was accessible. Um, there weren't any exhibits that we weren't able to participate in, which again is really unusual in a children's museum. I think of even a lot of times the interactive parts will have, like when they have the mini villages, all the houses are up a step. There was none of that here. I mean, they had the historic store, and that was zero entry. Um, yeah, all of the sports activities he was able to roll right up to. It was just fabulous that they could do all of the things and they could do them all together. Um, because that is part of it, right? If we go somewhere, I mean, my daughter can do things and then my son does something else, but that's not how we want to play. We want to be able to do all of the things and do them as a family. So yeah, the hands-on museum was fabulous. They had loads of fun there. Just the water room, I felt like we could have stayed there for an entire morning. So yes, plan more time for that one. Don't miss it.
Noted. Hands-on museum need a lot of time. It is a lot bigger inside than you think. When you walk up to it, you're like, oh, this looks small, but it's actually like 4 floors of
Yeah.
exhibits. Yeah,
And and they're all fun. It was amazing.
love it. What was your most content-worthy moment in Ann Arbor?
I'm wondering if this one is kind of obvious, but the Matai Gardens are so beautiful. So
Mhm.
obviously, any corner of the garden, it's easy to create content. And I had actually posted a reel on how the day did not end up looking like what I thought it would, with the Christmas card worthy photos, which we did get those too. We have beautiful pictures of us in the conservatory and outside surrounded by wildflowers. But we ended up spending most of our time trying to catch things in the creek and playing at the mud table and building a fort out of logs in the children's area, making little fairy houses because they have spaces set up for all of that. So those are like guided activities. Um, but on both ends, I feel like regardless, that's where you get the best pictures, right? Whether your kids are living their best messy lives or I'm getting my nice Christmas card photos
I love
because
it.
we got both
Well,
there.
you can get it all. You can get it all right there.
Thankfully, I got some of them before the kids were covered in mud. There was also a sprinkler running in one part of the garden, and so that just added to the fun of it.
Good to know. Yeah, I mean, you got to water the plants, I guess. That has to happen at some point.
It was actually perfect though, because I felt like there's also that little bit of when you go to a garden of, are the kids going to hate this? And I'm going to be getting them to say cheese for pictures, and we're just going to grin and bear it and get through. But it wasn't that. So
Uh, that's great. So we're down to the last question. If you could describe Ann Arbor in 3 words to your audience, what would they be and why?
um, the first one we discovered while we were there, charming. I felt like I wanted to take a picture of every little house and intersection that we passed. Um, I don't really know how you pull this off where it is a city, but it looks like you're in a little historic or beach town with all of the cute little houses and their colors and their shutters and their rockers on the porch. Like it's charming. Charming is my word. Sorry, I'm saying a lot when you ask for three
No,
words.
I love it.
Charming was my first word. My second word was bookish, which I love because we had extra time at one point and I just looked up to see if there was a bookstore because that's a great place to kill time. Um, and I don't remember how many were within walking distance, but it was ridiculous. My little Google Maps populated with all these bookstores that we could walk to. I'm like, oh, and that was fantastic. So we went to, I think, 4 of them in one day.
I love that. We
Yeah,
do
and it
have
was
a
great.
lot of
So
bookstores. A lot of
yes.
bookstores. Yeah.
And they're different
Mm.
styles of bookstores. I mean, we went to an antique bookstore and we went to that the Diggers that was the super cheap used bookstore. And we went to the one that has the typewriter where you can contribute to the books that is a newer bookstore. Even in being bookish, nothing was the same. My third word is inclusive. Back to how I felt welcomed everywhere that we went. And as a mom with young kids and a wheelchair user, I know that we are a minority in a couple of different areas. So to be able to have that attitude everywhere we went, like it just felt good to be included.
Well, I this couldn't have gone better. I'm so happy that your experience went so well. Um, this is exactly what I want every visitor to be able to experience when they come to Ann Arbor, um, and our surrounding area. Uh, is there anything else that I didn't cover that you want to say? And then beyond that, I want to make sure that whoever's watching can find you because I know you have a blog, you're on socials, and you might have other things that they can check out. So let the people know what they can find about you.
Yes, as you are wrapping up and I'm thinking of some of the things that we have highlighted, and I feel like actually we can praise you a little bit more. One of the things, I know, one of the things that we really appreciated, I know that you've partnered with Wheel the World and that you have a lot of accessibility verified destinations. And I know I had mentioned that to you in an email when we were visiting. Um, but as a parent, when you see that little wheelchair sticker on a window, there's just a little when you get there right from the start. Like it's you know that things have already been gone through and verified, and you're going to be able to have fun at this experience. There are things there that you're going to be able to participate in. So that
Mm.
was just one little thing. And appreciating that sticker.
Yeah.
Two other quick things then. The border to border trail, because accessible trails are hard to find, and this was fabulous. It was conveniently located where we were able to feel like we were in nature, and then we wrapped it up at A&W for lunch. So obviously we were able to go right through town, but also experience the outdoors. So that was fabulous. Um, and the other thing is every single place that we ate. So you need to look at our itinerary and eat at all of those places because they were all fabulous. And that's it as far as notes on Ann Arbor. I am Wonders Within Reach across the line. So the blog is Wonders Within Reach, Instagram, Facebook, and we share accessible itineraries, destinations, inspiration. The purpose is to inspire and enable other families like mine to be able to get out and explore because it's a lot when you're trying to plan a trip with a wheelchair user and find where all of the barriers are that you will encounter and then work out a way around them. So we share places not always as amazing as Ann Arbor, but along that vein of where you can go that's barrier free. So mapping out ahead of time, if we do hit barriers somewhere, being able to kind of weave through that for families. So here is an itinerary where you can go with restaurants, attractions, hotels, laying out different destinations for families to be able to go and explore.
Fantastic. I love that you've done that work for a lot of families and they can just go grab your itinerary, read the blog, and say, hey, I want to take a trip. And Jennifer's done it for me. I can just go and I know that these places are going to be able to accommodate me.
Yeah.
That's
So that you can
fantastic.
vacation instead of worrying about what you're going to encounter.
Absolutely. Who doesn't want that? I
Yeah.
definitely want that. So for anyone who's watching, if you go into the description of the video, I will have a link to a recap of Jennifer's trip with her kids. You can see the itinerary and then all the content that was produced from the trip. And then, some of the photos that were taken and all of the fun that was had and all the restaurants you can see
All the good
that
foodie
that
spots.
were there. Yes. So Jennifer, thank you so much for sitting down with me and going through some of your trip and sharing what you enjoyed. Um, I am so happy that your family was able to come to Ann Arbor, and we obviously will welcome you anytime you want to come back.
And I have to say thank you to you, Christine, too, and to Ann Arbor because it really was remarkable in the barrier-free experience that we were able to have. So thanks for having us out. It was great.